Actually, I'm just going to give a brief introduction and good morning. I'd like to welcome you all back after the very short break, as a member of the board of directors of the Arab Bankers Association of North America. I would like to say how pleased ABANA is to be co-hosting this Islamic Finance Forum with the U.S. Qatar Business Council and the National Council on U.S.-Arab Relations, and to thank Ambassador Thoros and the Council for assembling such a strong group of speakers and thinkers for today's discussion. As most of you well know, ABANA is dedicated to improving relations and understanding in the financial services industry between the U.S. and the MENA region. A greater understanding of Islamic finance is an increasingly important aspect of this work, and we commend today's speakers for deepening our knowledge of this growing sector. With that, I will turn the program back to our panelists.
Thank you very much, Nagy. Thank you.
And Jean-Francois, very good.
Thank you. Good morning. It's a great pleasure to see you all here. For you and come this morning, we have a great panel. I just have 3 minutes of remarks, and we'll get going because we are running a little bit late. But I just wanted to say that it's really with great pleasure and honor that I accepted Ambassador Thoros' invitation to moderate this morning's panel on Islamic finance. Indeed, as a former banker, I was a banker for 25 years, and current professor of political economy at the Center for Arab Studies at Georgetown, I've been very interested in the development of Islamic finance from almost zero in the 70s to probably close to $1 trillion today. I should add that at first I was quite opposed to the notion of Islamic banking, as at the time I couldn't see how these new institutions were bringing what they were bringing to the market. However, over time I turned my position 180 degrees to become quite a proponent of the new industry. In a nutshell, the reason I changed my opinion is that I have witnessed the traditional banks where I used to work becoming increasingly greedy and less bothered by ethical issues. I thus became quite enthralled by the fact that the core difference between traditional finance institutions and Islamic ones is that Islamic institutions must abide by a core of religious beliefs which emphasize the idea of justice. The Sharia board of each institution may view issues differently from each other, but they all must evaluate products and management of these products in light of their obedience to fundamental principles of justice and moral rectitude. In my view, the spectacular development of Islamic finance is a proof of the thirst for the public for such approach. No one should be naive enough to think that Islamic financiers are no less eager for profit than their traditional banking counterparts. Neither should one believe that Islamic finance products are cheaper, easier to obtain, or even substantially different than the traditional ones. However, one should find that Islamic finance is bringing back ethics into the financial realm. Inshallah, we will see that the development of this new industry will force the more traditional finance firms to bring back the notion of ethics in their decision, if only to compete with their new colleagues. Ambassador Thoros managed to get together probably the best panel on the subject of Islamic finance that can be gathered in this hemisphere. You all have the bios of each of the presenters here, and I really recommend that you read them because it's pretty interesting to see what they all have been up to. But I'm really awed by the depth of knowledge and experience that we have here this morning. We have divided the panels in two. One panel will discuss the more theoretical and legal format of Islamic finance, the first panel, while the second will focus more on the industry today and the major modern products that exist and are being developed. Finally, let me just thank the U.S. Qatar Business Council and in particular Ambassador Thoros for organizing this great event, and Dean Karmanian of Georgetown Law School for hosting it. You will notice that you have little note cards, and I was asked to pass the message that when you have questions, please put the question on the little note card, and somebody will pick them up for you. Right? Now, we have, on our panels here, it was very, very hard for us to decide who's going to speak on what, because everyone on this panel is pretty much a lawyer, a professor, a practitioner, and an author. So how do you divide the goods when everybody could talk about each one of the topics? So I hope I did, I did not cut apportion the work in too difficult a manner, but we are very pleased to have this gentleman here this morning, and we're just going to get started with the first panel. Thank you very much.